Chance Walser outside our NBC 24 studios on 300 South Burn Road for what looks like a very successful Help for Haiti campaign. We've already taken away a 20-foot truck and a couple cargo vans filled with stuff. Solar panels at the top there are going to bring power down to this pump, which is going to be put in this well, giving water to the school, the orphanage, and the community. And a really intense day for the young star. Even all that we just showed you only took her up till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then she hopped back in her limo with her entire entourage. Seemed like 25 people with her. She headed east to Ottawa County, where she's doing Bowerstock right now. That's another concert. And then a parade. We've got NBC 24's Pamela Osborne there covering that. We should have that for you hopefully by 7:30. And residents say the road's been turned up for the last couple weeks now, but it's only been the last couple of days that conditions have been this bad. Everyone's describing 1525 North less like a road and more like an ice skating rink. I'm here at the Baker's TNT stand in Bloomington. There's probably about a half a dozen or more of these stands going up all across the valley, although it appears these guys are the only ones open right now. Of course, the fire department has been making the rounds, making sure all of these stations are properly equipped. For instance, everybody's required to have at least a couple fire extinguishers around. They're also required by law to post signs up telling people not to smoke within 50 feet, not to light fireworks off within 200 feet of the stands. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., you've got UDOT, you've got Wadsworth Construction, as well as Utah's legislature here ready to remove the barricades and open this Southern Parkway interchange to residents. The people that would be affected the most is the community of Sun River, who now have to take that Bloomington exit with that kind of crazy roundabout and drive that windy Pioneer Road to get home. Well, they won't have to do that anymore. We talked to a few of them today who said they're excited, not because of where they will be able to drive now, but where they won't have to drive anymore. I spoke with a nurse based out of Findlay today who was actually on the ground in Haiti when the earthquake struck. She says the conditions were pretty deplorable. People are actually dying of dehydration and starvation while they're waiting to get help. So bottled water is another big need. Again, we'll be out here till about 8 o'clock this evening. Among the 1,000 words these pictures are worth are words like hope, possibility, and light at the end of a dark tunnel of sickness and poverty.
You can get one. Okay, you can get one, you can get one.
Perhaps Missions International of America's biggest contribution this trip to the island nation of Haiti will come in the form of this small, genetically altered Artemisia plant that, if grown and harvested properly, can be sold by these poor Haitians as an herbal remedy for diseases like malaria that are running rampant post-earthquake.
There's Artemisia growing in Haiti, but it's not an Artemisia that contains the 11 congeners of the drug that caused the cure. This is a genetically modified plant designed specifically to cure malaria.
They looked at that as though it was a newborn babe. I mean, they really knew that this was probably maybe their only ticket to growth.
Artemisia will have a double-barreled effect on the region. First, it will quiet the uncomfortable beast that is malaria.
High fever, racking chills, sweats, and a severe headache worse than any headache you've ever had in your life.
And the second effect will come when these poor farmers are able to sell the medicine, providing food and a better life for their families.
They have to plant it, they have to water it, and then they have to share it, and they'll be fine.
And maybe the best part of all, as far as Dr. Jay Nielsen can see, there doesn't seem to be an end in sight.
Lots and lots of common plants that we all know that you can make a tea out of and you can treat a disease effectively.
Yeah. It's an animal you might see every day at the zoo. But being confined by a cage is something this head-bobbing cockatiel knows nothing about.
Everybody would think we'd have like a shop dog or something, but we got a shop bird.
You heard it right. You may have seen Boobaloo the shop bird as you were driving past K&K Auto Body on South Avenue in South Toledo. He's perched out in front of the shop on most nice days, keeping an eye on the neighborhood.
The kids come through here in packs. The neighbors bring them over snacks.
Mark Diebert is the owner of the shop and the bird. He took Boobaloo in about 3 years ago when some friends didn't want him anymore.
When they offered it to me, I said, yeah, I'll try and give him a good home, something to do. And he was kind of mean at first, but now he's really tamed down and just enjoys being here and hanging out.
The bird's wings are not clipped, but he doesn't fly away. And in between impromptu shows, a few pecks at a pear. Of course, if he's really hungry, he just heads on over to the Mexican place next door.
He cheers us up, you know what I mean? If we need him to, you know, he's there. He basically can do a human laugh almost.
And just like every working human, when it's time to clock out or caca out, it's time to head home.
He'll just walk down this thing and walk home. We live about 4 houses down, and it's kind of crazy. I can't believe he does it, but he does.
Millbury resident Karen Monroe had just seconds after the tornado sirens went off to get into the basement. 5 minutes later, the storm was over and her property.
We had a 40-foot building here that had our trucks and motorcycles and cars in and stuff like that, so it's all gone.
But she survived. The family 2 houses down, not so lucky.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Scott Conley was at his parents' house just across the street from this now pile of flooded rubble.
The first thing that you think is make sure your immediate family's okay. And as soon as that was over, first thing I thought about doing was just making sure everybody else in the area was going to be okay.
Conley ran across the street to find his neighbors buried in their basement.
Right around this corner and right down there where that piece of plywood is at in the corner, they were buried in brick and rubble from the house.
He was able to get Mom Cindy and kids Michael and Katie out safe, but the dad, Ted Kranz, didn't make it. Rescue crews found his body this morning in another part of the house.
From what I understand, the husband, the dad, ran upstairs and didn't make it back in time.
Last night, a tornado ripped this community apart, and tonight they're all working to put Case Street in Millbury back together again. Good evening. We begin with breaking news out of Monclova Township. Flames have ripped through the roof of Cleveland's Outdoor World. Airport Highway has been closed off as fire crews battle that blaze. NBC 24's Lou Hebert joins us live now with the very latest. Lou. Tonight's big story, a 4th of July fireworks celebration is likely to blame for setting 3 houses and a shed on fire early this morning in Erie Township. But things could have been much worse had it not been for one heads-up cab driver. Charred remains like these are a familiar sight this time of year for area fire departments.
I was requested to come out and do the cause and origin of a fire that occurred this morning around 3 a.m.
The families in all 3 houses either got out safe or were not even home at the time of the fire. One 3-year-old girl did go to the hospital because of smoke inhalation, but she has since been released. For more on this early morning fire and to leave your comments, you can just head over to our website, ToledoOnTheMove.com. On the NBC 24 Street Beat, a Port Clinton man is dead after a motorcycle accident in Ottawa County. It happened on the Thomas Edison Bridge in Danbury Township. Investigators say 53-year-old Dale Fultz rear-ended a Jeep. Fultz was thrown from his bike and then run over by a car that had tried to avoid the wreck. No one else was seriously hurt. The 4th of July is rooted in lots of traditional ways to celebrate, barbecues and fireworks. But one Colorado town celebrates with a rather untraditional tradition of its own. Anastasia Bolton has that story. The Big Apple is taking an artistic approach to lure the king to their court. Eric has the latest on LeBron James in sports. Plus, the holiday means it's once again time to leap forward with your trash collection. We'll have those details for you next. I'm less concerned about him getting arrested and more concerned about there being a governing body.
That's true.
For competitive eating. I had no idea.
Gluttony at its finest here in America.
The MLE. Valerie? Well, Mother Nature sure is picking on the Northeast. Temperatures are hovering around the 100-degree mark from New England to New York and Washington, D.C. to the Virginia shore. NBC's Brian Moore has the story from Washington. Just pull out all the stops, the pool, the popsicles, the sweat rags, whatever we have to do to get through this, huh?
Yes, definitely recommended.
Okay, thanks, Valerie.
You're welcome.
You still have time to cash in on the state's appliance rebate. How much money is left coming up?
I apologize. You're going to need the air conditioner.
But you know what? We'll somehow get through it for the next 3 days. We'll make it. That's going to do it for us for now. You can catch us online anytime if you'd like. ToledoOnTheMove.com for now. Good night.